The town of Luckenbach was established in the 1840s. These buildings date to about that time. But interestingly, most people didn't even know it was on the map until well over a century later.
Luckenbach's story is similar to many towns in Texas's hill country. Just a few years after the Battle of the Alamo and the end of the Mexican War, immigrants began to settle this area.
So back in the 1800s, this is where the German immigrants settled. And there was a trading post with the Comanches as well. And so that's originally why the store and the dance hall are here.
There were never many people who lived in Luckenbach. In fact, what you see today is much of what's always been here. Today, they say the license plates on the buildings are all that keeps some of them still standing. The place served the needs of those living within about a 10-mile radius.
They would have church here on Sundays, or they would hold funerals, they would have dances, they'd have birthday parties, whatever the community needed to come together for.
But as the years passed and travel became easier, people could bypass Luckenbach. In 1971, the post office was moved to Fredericksburg, and the town's property and buildings were put up for sale. Local rancher Hondo Crouch purchased the town.
Hondo was very much a character and a storyteller and a make-believe kind of person. And they would sit out under these trees and tell jokes and whittle sticks and play music.
I got my first guitar when I was 14.
One of Hondo's friends was Jerry Jeff Walker. In 1973, he recorded the album Viva Terlingua, the Luckenbach Dance Hall. Those songs began to put the ghost town back on the map. Luckenbach began to attract folks curious about the place where that album was recorded. That's what led Hayden Whittington here in 1973.
At the time, it was very few people, actually. It was a lot of locals. They come in and play dominoes and checkers. If you came during the week, there was a good chance that, you'd be the only person in the bar besides the bartender.
A few folks began to wander into Luckenbach, but it was another song, of course, that made the town world famous.
Out in Luckenbach, Texas, ain't nobody feeling no pain.
Guy Clark used to hang out here with Hondo, and they'd sit out here and play guitar and what have you. So Guy Clark is the one that told Chips Moman and Bobby Emmons, the writers of the song, about Luckenbach. So they took it to Waylon's producer and said, "You've got to cut this."
Jennings recorded it without ever setting foot in town. The crowd of a couple dozen swelled to several hundred when Jennings's Luckenbach hit #1.
The music's still played here in Luckenbach every single day. And whether it's just a few folks on the park bench or 20,000 on a weekend, it's locals and people from halfway around the world coming to enjoy a place where music legends have been born. Traveling the countryside in Luckenbach, Texas, I'm Andrew McCrae.